Wednesday night. Got my man Bill McLaughlin here. We're going to clean up and talk about a few things so we can get the details from his side. Certainly a long day today. A lot of details going on about this particular topic, so we're going to get right at it. How are you, first and foremost?
I'm okay.
It's been a long day.
Long day, that's okay.
All right, so you want to give us a bit of, give the listeners insight on what happened today?
This morning around 9:30, I received a call, 9:15 from Mr. Hall. He told me that they had decided, yes, they wanted us to vacate the premises.
Okay.
That there would be someone from the city over there, Security Officer Mendez. He said Lisa Whitaker and somebody else would be there to meet us, and
Okay.
that Tony and I would have the opportunity to go in and start taking our stuff out.
Okay.
I went over. When I got there, I had requested to Mr. Hall, that I wanted a canine dog to run through the place first.
Okay. So you requested that?
I requested
Okay.
that. I believe the dog was already on the way, though. This was something that was spoken of before.
Right.
And again, that was done because I surrendered my keys on Friday. They got allegations of drugs. They were in there over the weekend. Some of the city people. I want to make sure everybody's clear. I didn't want nothing to be in there where it come back on Tony, me, the city, nothing. Let's start with a clean slate there.
Okay.
So we did that. The officers cleared it. The officers interviewed me. They interviewed my 17-year-old son. I gave them permission. They interviewed my son Matthew.
Okay.
And then they left to go do whatever they had to do to follow up, the rest of the investigation and to continue it.
Okay.
Became a news media frenzy out there for a little while, which, hey, you know what? I am actually glad. There was always a time when the cameras would come and everybody would be like, the public needs to know this. They need to know what type of administration we're dealing with here.
Right.
They need to know the truth, and, that's the biggest thing I've been asking all along. Do an investigation.
Right.
Put the truth out there. Let's get this done. But the most important thing is we sit here again this evening. Some of my kids showed up. I had to turn my kids away. It's tough. And that's what hurts me the most about all this.
Right.
It's bad enough to know that I don't have a place for them yet, but then when they show up, and they give you hey, Mr. Bill, this, and trying to tell them, don't worry about it. We'll find a place. We always teach the kids to protect themselves at all time in the ring.
That's right.
So I guess this is just another little lesson to them.
A boxing life lesson.
A boxing life lesson. Protect yourself on the outside too. You never know, what's going to come at you, and stand your ground when it comes, and face the consequences of whatever it might be.
Okay. Let's get into it a little bit about the whole Team Hope. How does that work? Explain to the listeners, because there's two sides of every story. We want you to give yours. What is the whole Team Hope? How does it run? Who funds it? How do you do the funding?
Okay. The Team Hope program, Team Hope program started 5 years ago.
Okay.
It started with permission from Gleason's Gym in New York City.
Right.
World-renowned boxing gym.
Right.
And we mirror their Give a Kid a Dream program.
Okay.
I went up there and met with Mr. Silverglade.
Mm-hmm.
He talked with his board. There's some history there. Mr. Silverglade's dad is a retired Trenton detective.
Okay.
He was the coach of the USA ping pong team at one time.
Okay.
And he was one of the founders of Trenton Pal Boxing.
Okay.
So we started out. I came back. We got their permission. We started the program out in the Donnelly homes. No ring, working in the gym. We had a great relationship with the housing authority.
Right.
About a year later, North Clinton Community Center was slated to be shut down.
Okay.
Under Mayor Palmer's administration, they were running into some funding issues. I talked with Mr. Frisbee. Like I said, Sam and I had a great working relationship when it came to the community. We always did what had to be done.
Right.
He allowed me to go in there. We were able to put a ring up. Ran the program out of there for almost a year and a half, 2 years. Along came another program with the Greater Donnelly Weed and Seed initiative, the Greater Donnelly Initiative.
Right.
So I went and talked with Director Bradley at the time, the police director.
Okay.
Sam Frisbee, and Sam said, we don't have any money to fix up Broad Street, but if Director Bradley wants you to go there and you want to go and do what you got to, we did it. And,
okay.
And, that's where we stand today. That's why we were in Broad Street.
Okay.
I think you heard last night the mayor talking about leases. There was no lease because of the fact it was a weed and seed strategy.
Okay.
And under a strategy, we're under the umbrella of the city.
Okay.
So you don't need a lease from the city to say, can I go do your program there? So that's how we wound up there.
Okay.
And it hits and misses with the numbers of kids. Sometimes it varies. Right now we're around 56.
Okay.
At one time at North Clinton Avenue we had, I think it was 84 kids.
Okay.
So I would say over the last 5 years, probably 300, 350 youth that come through the program. Some
Right.
have remained for several years, 5 years. I have short timers, I have long timers. The thing is, they know the door's open, they can always walk in.
Nice. Okay. Gonna give you a chance to look at this. This is the receipt from, I'm taking one of the families that had turned that in terms of saying the money was taken from Zayas, is it?
From Mr. Zayas, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
His official receipt there?
this is a receipt that was presented to myself and to Councilman Michelle
Okay.
through me from one of the parents who said that, I have a receipt. This is the receipt I was given. And I even said to her, I said, well, it says free martial arts. What did you give the three for? She said, well, we were told that was a sign-up fee.
Okay.
So there's different things that are happening here.
Right. And the fee here is
340. There's
yeah.
and down the bottom there's 360. So, I don't know what he was doing up there as far as this here type of stuff.
Right.
I just know that once I caught wind of it.
Okay.
And like I said, and again, the first thing the city said to me was, well, why didn't you tell us sooner? Say, because there was nothing to tell you.
Right.
But see, unlike them, as I heard the rumors of it,
Right.
or I had a little bit of suspicion of it, I didn't just jump and throw the man out in the street.
Right.
Once I had concrete evidence, I presented him with the letter, and then we took it from there.
Okay.
But see, with us, he walked in the office, gave them some suspicion of whatever. They never sat with me. That's why I'm so upset with this administration with this.
Right.
I think it's very unfair that I was just blatantly told your program's shut down. No
Right.
explanation, no nothing.
Okay.
I got a feeling if it was that deep, I wouldn't be sitting here right now. I'd probably be sitting
Right.
over at 225 North Clinton calling my family for bail. So,
Okay. I
think it was just wrong of them to do this.
Okay. So let's ask the question so we can clear you and put you on the front street. With money being brought in, with the individual alleging that money was given, did you ever take money?
I've never taken money from Tony Zayas.
Okay.
I've never taken money from a parent in my boxing program.
Okay.
This is another thing. I wish I knew exactly which parents it was, but you can always come by anytime. They can come wherever I'm at. Whenever a parent would come into me and say, well, you're doing it for free, you're doing it out of your pocket, you and your coaches, I want to make a donation. I used to say, go to ShopRite, go someplace, buy a couple cases of water, we'll give them out, go buy a pair of gloves.
Nice.
I don't take money.
Right.
We don't do that here.
Right.
The most that was ever given to me or to one of my coaches from any child or any parent was $5. And the reason being is we always gave them their hand wraps and we always gave them their mouthpieces.
Okay.
When you're buying that stuff out of your pocket, it gets expensive after,
Right.
and they lose it.
Right.
So to try to teach them a little responsibility, we put a $5 cost on, and that's the hand wraps and the mouthpiece together.
Right.
You can't go nowhere and get a mouthpiece and hand wraps
No.
for $5.
No, you
So,
definitely can't. I guess what the most important question now would be for you is, how are we going to move forward? How do you clear your reputation? Where are you going with this?
well, hopefully the police are conducting an investigation,
Okay.
which I requested also. You heard me last night. I have nothing to hide.
No.
I'm very glad they are. I think personally, what I could see now is that Friday they made a quick decision, a snap decision. It was almost like, good, we got him out of here now. We
Right.
got Bill McLaughlin. You know what? You don't like me? Come sit down with the man, and let's work this out. We can do something. I think on Monday they realized, at 3 o'clock the mayor's telling Councilman Michelle on the phone, yeah, they're going to be back in there. 4 o'clock Howard Hall's telling me the program's completely shut down.
Wow.
I go to a council meeting last night and I walk in and I have one of the reporters come up to me and tell me, hey, listen, I talked with the mayor and I asked him if there was anything to look into you with any sort of profiteering, whatever, Again, nothing there.
Right.
Nothing there. Like I said last night on the live audio,
Okay.
the most important thing that I said it last night is I want the kids back in the building. The most exchange Zayas and I ever had as far as any type of compensation. I'm at McDonald's, he's at the building, I pick him up a cup of coffee. If he's there, we vice versa. That's about it. Today while he's there. As soon as I got it, he shook, hey Bill, people need to understand something. I took this man in on his word.
Right.
I never got complaints of any other type of thing other than the money, and when I start getting those complaints and I actually had concrete evidence, I stepped to him and asked him to stop.
Right.
He took it to a whole nother level,
I guess this is Tony Zayas on the screen.
Mhm.
He's been around for a while too, so people are going to say, well, hey, this guy's got a reputation for being a great trainer. why hasn't he stepped up and corrected this? Because it really could have been an inside job.
Well,
if
you
you ask
know,
me. He could have been a man. If you, what you're saying, and again, I'm going with you. I was with Gen Council. If what you're saying, why hasn't he stepped up? Why hasn't he said Bill didn't do that and kept it inside?
Well, I think basically what it comes down to is that he knows he was wrong. You have a group of parents now that, how are you going to go to these parents and say, okay, listen, I've been charging you all this money, but Bill made me stop.
Right.
You know, I think that's part of the reason.
Okay.
I think the other reason is, you know, just like he told the investigating officers today, he was in the building before I even got there. The man needs to sit down, take a really soul-searching, you know, he's into all the Tai Chi, all that stuff. Maybe
Right.
he needs to do what he needs to do, and he needs to make it right.
Right.
Again, like I say, you know, it's nothing personal.
Right.
He was never told he had to leave the building.
Right.
He was told if you are operating a business, which it appears you are,
Right.
knock it off, talk with the parents, give the parents back their, you know, compensate the parents back, but from this moment on, you are not to charge another fee inside this building.
Right.
You know, parents were showing up today. You know, and he's looking right at him, telling him, I didn't take money from you. And, you know, one person's holding a receipt, another woman's there, she's holding 4 kids. You know, I mean, come on, let's be man up. You know, don't give this when God says to tell me to talk, I'll talk. You know what? Like I said on video before, sometimes you got to take the word God when things really want to, you know, and you got to say it's good order, head in a good orderly direction, do the right thing. That tape across my jackets, and you know what? And here's what upsets me too with the hoodies. You know, Miss Wilkins, when she was in recreation,
Okay.
they were able to get us hoodies for the Team Hope boxing. The mayor seemed very supportive of this program. That's
Right.
the only compensation I've gotten from the city
Was the
for the
hoodies.
boxing was the hoodies. And it wasn't for me; it was for my coaches, myself, and all of our kids that were in there.
Right.
A total of like 25, 30 hoodies.
Okay.
The kids are walking around. It's hot. You know, they're displaying these things. They're proud. This is something they belong to. We wore them in a Thanksgiving Day parade.
Okay.
You know, I got kids that are in schools. They're wearing them. You know, one of the things we were doing was they weren't acting right. They had to turn in their hoodie. So
Okay.
they start acting right again.
Good.
You know, today I was there and I thought, you know what? I'm not going to display this symbol. I'm going to go. I'm in mourning. This is sad. The city should be in mourning. We're taking 86 kids. We're throwing them out on the street. No, we're not. You know, the administration's throwing them out
Right.
on the street, and I don't think they thought about the repercussions that can occur. I don't think that they're thinking clearly. There's nothing there. I mean,
Okay.
you know, none of our centers are open.
Right.
You go to our other centers, and you have a bunch of older guys playing basketball. You know, so hey, not saying that that's wrong. I believe the older guys deserve to have a place to come to. That's
No,
why
I
I have
agree.
some older people in my boxing.
Right.
You know, but I just think it was very, very unfair and a very snap decision that they didn't think about very clearly. I think right now they're saying, oh, okay, well, wait a minute, we got Tony. You know, we'll say Bill was taking half of what Tony was getting.
Right.
We could probably get Tony and let the police decide. That's why I was so happy to hear it went into the police.
That's
And you know what? And if people aren't satisfied because I'm a retired Trenton cop, then send it over to the prosecutor and let them investigate.
Okay.
You know, make sure it's done right. I have nothing, like I said, my reputation stands strong. I've done this for a long time.
Right.
It's a waste of energy. It's a waste of resources. It's surely a sad sight that the kids have to be out on the street.
I agree.
You know, all this time spent with these interviews and moving. I mean, this is time the kids could have been in there. Yeah, they could have been doing their thing. That's what it's about. So.
Okay. So let's close it out by saying, let the listeners know why they should know and understand that Bill McLaughlin is a trustworthy, honest guy who's running an upstanding operation. And when this investigation is done, you should be put back in play and continue to do what you've been doing.
I think it's you have to base it on someone's record, their history.
I agree.
You know, 25 years I served within the police department. 25 years, one pink slip. A pink slip is something that goes to IA. Or green slip, one complaint. Was I perfect? I'm a man. I'm never perfect. Nobody's
Right.
perfect. When it came to retiring, I retired. 6 months, I had a break in time. I took the weed and seed position. My record stands clear up in the greater Donley neighborhood. You know, I've done work with the Housing Authority. I initiated a lot of programs up there, the Choices program that's functioning now, that the Greater Donley Initiative is doing a fantastic job. And that's the other thing, you know, as a coordinator with Weed and Seed, your job is to bring in any type of resources you can,
Right.
and to build the community up to such a point where once they get on their feet, step back
Right.
and let the community take over.
Right.
Again, that was the subleasing deal last night. I'm sitting there, I'm listening to the mayor, and I'm thinking, you should have just sat with me first before you're doing this, because you're making yourself look
Yeah.
like an idiot. Excuse me. Strategy of weed and seed. When Tony came along, fantastic thing, because now we're not only servicing the kids with boxing, we're giving them an opportunity to do martial arts. And the police explorers were in the building at the time.
Okay.
So we were running 3 programs out of a building that was sitting vacant. You know, so, and all for free.
Right.
You know, 3 years I did summer camps. The lightest load I ever had, I think, was 68 kids,
Okay.
which was last year.
Okay.
Prior to that, I had 105 police explorers.
Okay.
Graduation at Donnelly Homes. I mean, I could go on, but the bottom line is this: I've never once accepted funds.
Okay.
Anytime I did get a check or something from someone, it was turned into the Greater Donnelly Neighborhood Initiative, which was the nonprofit.
Okay.
I used to tell people, make it out to the initiative, because
Right.
they're the ones who help us.
Right.
I have one young man who came under my wing 5 years ago in the Housing Authority, and not just me alone, but through a community effort, along with the Greater Donnelly Neighborhood Initiative. He's in Valley Forge Military Academy on a
Nice.
full paid scholarship.
Nice.
Had another young lady come through our program. And good, of course, Tony's thing was I didn't want Hispanics in the building. Young lady happens to be Guatemalan. She was going to Stewart Day on a full paid scholarship.
Nice.
This is all partnerships with the Greater Donnelly Initiative.
Right.
Just had a national champion come
Right.
back.
Outstanding.
Several of my fighters are, local show winners, Golden Glove winners.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not like I'm just running a gym and kids
No.
are coming in there punching
No,
each
you
other.
have success
We
stories.
get them in competition. I have a stack of books that, their fight books I buy out of my pocket. So I have their fight books. We get them registered with USA Boxing. I always think this way with the fight book. They're expensive. Now they're $60 per book. But the nice thing is, it's like being a kid on a baseball team.
Right.
You don't want to sit the bench. You want to have a bat, and you want to have a glove, and you want to have a bag like every other kid when you show up to practice.
Right.
And that's what we try to do with these kids. We
Okay.
try to give them something so they feel part of a team.
Mm-hmm.
We do the best we can with them,
Right.
and I think it works. I know it works.
Okay.
I've seen it. Today I had 2 of my little guys show up today, give me hugs. Mr. Bill, it's going to be okay.
Good.
So.
All right. So we want to thank you for coming on, Bill. Hopefully everything will play itself out in the investigation. You've come on and made your case. You've stated the same thing we've been riding with, saying you're honest, you haven't received any money, you haven't taken any money, and Mr. Zayas is wrong, and I'm hoping the investigation will prove and validate that so you can get back to doing what you've been
I think
doing.
so. I have a meeting tomorrow with someone. I'm not going to say where. I have a place to go tomorrow to check.
Okay.
I'm hoping the door's going to be open, and I'm going in there, and I'm laying, I'm going to let them know what's taking place.
Okay.
So there's no doubt in their mind if I get in this building, and then they say, oh, well, wait a minute, I'm going to let them know what's taking place now,
Okay.
and I'm going to offer the same thing to them. If you would like, let my coaches and kids come in. I will stand back until
yeah.
the investigation's
That's
done.
honorable, too. I
Well,
respect
you know why? Because I know there's nothing there.
Right.
And, people can lie on you, people can, having been a cop for 25 years, I was accused of things, somebody's, oh, the cuffs are too tight, he hit me in the head, he did this, you lock up a drug dealer, it was always, oh, my money's missing.
Right.
You know what? Sometimes people just look for an out, and that's the easiest way to do it, is to try to put it off on somebody else.
All right. Thanks a lot, Bill.
Okay, thank you.
Have a good night, bro. Hang in there.